Hi, welcome to McDonald's. Are you a rewards member?
No.
What can I get for you?
What flavor iced coffees do you have?
It's got French vanilla, hazelnut, caramel, and they got plain.
Alright, I'll do caramel.
All right, dear. It's going to be $161 at your first one done. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Damn, I was hoping they had pumpkin for October. What's up, YouTube? So as you can see, I went to go to McDonald's and buy a pumpkin iced coffee, but for some reason they didn't carry pumpkin flavor. I know Dunkin' does, I know Starbucks does, pretty much everywhere does, but for some odd reason, the one place I go to, they do not offer pumpkin flavor. I had to settle for a caramel iced coffee, which is usually my go-to, so I'm still happy. First, I wanted to say thank you to everybody who has me on TikTok. I just hit 200,000 the other day, and words can't even express how happy and thankful I am for so many people to be interested in hearing my story and just having fun with me while I do it, making funny content. It's just crazy. But to get into the video now, yes, this really happened. No, this is not clickbait. What it says in the title is what pretty much happened, and I thought now would be a good time to talk about it because years have gone by and it happened and I'm over it, and it's kind of just a funny memory at this point. So with that being said, this goes back maybe 4 or 5 years ago. So when I was still relatively new with trying to talk to cisgender women, I was still transitioned, so I already started hormones. I already had most of the changes where people usually could not tell that I was trans. And this person actually happened to know I was trans through friends and through social media, because obviously I don't go out of my way to hide the fact. So this person had reached out to me on Facebook, and she, again, knew that I was transgender, and she started messaging me saying how attractive I was. That led to us talking, and again, super open. She knew I was trans. She knew most of my situation and where my body was at that point in time. At that point, I had not had top surgery, and obviously I had not had bottom surgery. But with the testosterone I was taking, I was in the beginning stages of bottom growth. And for all of my trans friends, you know what bottom growth is, you know how it works, and you know around what time it usually starts to grow in the process and what it looks like as it's growing. So I was in the beginning stages of my bottom growth growing, and at that point in time, I didn't really talk about my bottom part because I don't feel the need that it's important, especially when I first start meeting or talking to someone. We start hanging out a few times, and I'm someone who likes to take things slow. I don't really like to rush into doing things with people. It's just not the way I roll. So we hung out a few times. We watched movies. We went on drives. We did regular friend stuff. Then, probably the 4th time we hung out, and this has been over the span of like 3 months. We hung out and we actually made out. It's nothing where they saw any body part of mine. And probably by month 4, pictures were starting to be exchanged. So we talked about exchanging pictures, and we ended up exchanging pictures, and pretty much she didn't indicate to me that anything was wrong or that she cared about anything, but she kind of started distancing herself more, and I didn't really know what the issue was. I just we continued talking, but like I could tell she was starting to not really be with the shits. And pretty much she would say that there was some person who she still had feelings for, like however long ago, and like she knows I'm a good guy and she doesn't want to end up hurting me. She basically knew that she didn't want to ruin my feelings because I'm a good person and I didn't deserve that, and I respected that. So eventually we ended up just kind of, and there was no hard feelings about it, didn't care, like whatever. I moved on, she moved on. So then it wasn't until last year, so after that happened, probably 3 or 4 years went by with me still under the impression that she met somebody, or she knew that she still had feelings for a past person, and whatever. We just went our separate ways, and that was the end of the story. That's what happened. Then, come to find out, one of my best friends, actually, it came up in conversation about, like, me and that girl just not working out, and I was telling her, yeah, it didn't work out because of this, that, and the third, and she was like, oh, no, she told me it was because of this. And what my friend had told me was, that day that we sent pictures, like, she was still really into me, she liked me, and then the day we sent each other pictures, I guess it kind of threw her off guard. I was in the beginning stages of my bottom growth, so it still resembled that of a female's anatomy, but it was in the beginning stages of transitioning into a miniature male anatomy. So it was in this kind of awkward stage. So her not knowing anything about the way the trans body works, it kind of just threw her off guard. And again, prior to this, she identified as a straight cisgender female who just dated cisgender men. So she only knows about cisgender male's anatomy. She doesn't know anything about trans anatomy or whatever. So I guess that day, me sending her pictures, it just kind of threw her off, and she just was not feeling it anymore. And I know some of you guys will be like, well, that's kind of messed up, that's rude. Yes, in a sense, but also I can't really be mad at her, because at the end of the day, we don't know if we're into something until we do it. And I'm not gonna say that if it were me, if there were a situation where I was so used to one type of body part, and then all of a sudden this kind of threw me off, and I've never seen this before, I've never been educated on this before, and it's just boom in my face, I can't say that I wouldn't do the same thing. So it would be wrong of me to judge her for that. So in a sense, I get it. But on the other hand, I do feel as though her knowing I was transgender, maybe she should have educated herself just a tiny bit more and did her research, and maybe even looked up videos on trans men, and just kind of understanding what she was getting herself into, so she would know prior to me sending her these pictures. I guess in a sense, it's my fault and her fault. For me, I guess I should have maybe educated her more before doing that, and then for her, she should have just educated herself more and done more research and all of that, and maybe not have looked at me as a guinea pig and like a trial. So yeah, long story short, there wasn't enough communication, there wasn't enough education, and she pretty much got blindsided and was not expecting it to maybe look like that. I don't know. Again, for some trans men, this might be a triggering thing, and I don't know if it has happened to any of you guys. Leave a comment down below if you've heard of stories like this happening, or if it happened to you, if you're comfortable telling me. But I just used it as a teachable and learning experience, and now obviously I've dated more people, and this is a one-time thing. It's never happened again. It was just this one time, and it was like 4 years ago in the early stages of my transition. And again, everyone from there on, I've never had issues, and now I just know how to approach women or men when I would like to pursue something romantically or sexually or anything in that nature. So that was pretty much the sum of the story. I hope somebody can get a laugh out of this, or even learn something from this, because again, for somebody who is not trans, just really do your research. If you are interested in somebody who is trans or non-binary, just make sure you do your research, because you don't want to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation, and you don't want your partner to be uncomfortable or dysphoric because you didn't realize until the act that something was not what you wanted to pursue, if that makes sense. So I just feel as though this story alone just proves that there just needs to be more communication and education between you and your partner, or you and your friends with benefits, or whatever. We just need to communicate, and we need to educate, and that's honestly part of the reason I do what I do. I'm not really too closed off about sharing pretty much anything about me, because it needs to be normalized, and the only way it's going to be normalized is if we continue to speak on it. So, yeah. I really hope you enjoyed that video. I've been thinking about it for the past year, and I'm like, should I tell this story or should I just pretend it didn't happen? But I don't know. To me, if I heard that story, I would think it's kind of funny. So I figured somebody's gonna get a laugh, and maybe I just saved somebody from having the same mistake that I had, and maybe I just prevented that. So again, if you like this video, leave a like. If you have anything to say about it, drop a comment down below. And again, thank you for everybody who has been adding me on TikTok, subscribing to this channel. I really appreciate that. And if you could tell your friends and their friends tell their friends, I really would love to grow this platform, because I just know that I'm helping somebody. Even if it's just one person, I'm helping someone. I hope you guys have an amazing October 1st if you're watching this today. Peace.